my next honoree is someone that's no stranger to the state capitol. Actually, she's no stranger to Washington, D.C., at our nation's capital. A remarkable young lady from the town of Bern that I met at a lemonade stand. It was Bern, one of their Bern Summerfest, I believe it was called. And she was selling cupcakes and lemonade. And my son was with me, and he wanted to get some of those cupcakes. And there was Emma, ready to give him. I believe it was one of the chocolate cupcakes. Chocolate is his favorite. Emma Detlefsen was born with lymphedema, but she has not let that slow her down. In fact, she's working hard to make a difference for many others affected by the disease. She does, in addition to her own fundraisers, she does a number of fundraisers in New York City, the Brooklyn Bridge New York City Walk to fight lymphedema and lymphatic diseases. And she's been to Washington, D.C. since the age of 7. And she has attended more than 40 congressional meetings to date. She's presented to so many to talk about and educate people about lymphedema and how sometimes it is misunderstood. I know at the state capitol, she has brought awareness. She has educated legislators that knew nothing about this. Since I have known her, I've been able to sponsor legislation and fight for funding that can make a difference here in New York State. But she's making it happen in Washington, D.C. Please welcome up to the stage Emma Detlefsen. Emma, all right. I'm going to have you sit right there. I'm going to have you pick up that mic. Emma, welcome.
Thank you.
So you just got back from Washington, D.C. not too long ago, right?
Yes.
And this is not your first time up there. How many times have you been up there?
I think about a couple years now, maybe 3 or 4.
A couple years. We saw your pictures. I think it was on Instagram or Facebook or one of those. And we saw some of the work that you're doing up there. So what's it like to travel to Washington, D.C. And to actually be teaching representatives from across the country about lymphedema?
I like to because some people that have lymphedema, wherever they have lymphedema, it's really big and they can't function that well. So for people who can't travel to Washington, D.C. and lobby for themselves, I like to lobby for them.
And now these are personal. You've also shared some of your personal experiences, and I know we just had you up at the Capitol with your class not too long ago. And what is it like sharing your personal experience and talking about some of the challenges that you had to face being affected by lymphedema?
Well, sometimes my friends don't really get it, and it's kind of hard to explain for them. But I just say that the fluid in my legs don't move like how theirs do, so I need to wear wraps and compression garments to drain all the fluid out.
So, and what is it like knowing that by doing this work, you're helping so many others that are fighting with the same challenges, struggling with the same challenges that you've struggled with?
I really like to because, like I said, some people can't do that for themselves, and I just like to know that I'm helping other people.
So tell us about Emma's Incredibles.
So for Emma's Incredibles, I have lemonade stands, sweatshirt sales, and so I do lemonade stands every year. I usually do it at the Burntown Park, and so I sell lemonades and like cupcakes and all these sweets, and then we get donations from people, and I just like to know that I'm helping people with lymphedema.
Yeah, and in addition to that, as I said, you're doing your own fundraiser, but you're also doing bigger fundraisers. Tell us about the one in New York City.
So the one in New York City is Lymphatic Education and Research Network, and for those, we lobby in Albany for the Lymphedema Treatment Act.
And we've had a couple of resolutions in your honor,
Yes.
and also recognizing Lymphedema Day in New York. And part of that was because you came up and you were able to raise awareness about this. So some people that really, and do you find that often that some people really don't know anything about lymphedema?
Yes, some people don't really know about lymphedema, which I don't like to hear because I really want people to be educated about lymphedema so they know.
And one of the quotes that you left that I'm going to read, you said you were talking to more than 350 people, and you said, if I can do something hard for me, like walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, then maybe a smart scientist can do what's hard for them and find a cure in my lifetime. And what was it like speaking in front of that many people?
It was nerve-wracking at first, but then when I started getting going, it was better.
And you've had more than 40 congressional meetings to date. And what's it like speaking to people from across the country that you've never met before to talk about this very important issue?
I like to do it. The first couple of meetings sometimes can be nerve-wracking, but once you're done with the first few meetings, like, you kind of just get the hang of it, and it's really just fun to talk about your disease and help other people.
And what are some of the things you had some meetings just recently? What are some of the things you told them?
We tell them about the compression garments and the pumps and the wraps, and we tell them that they should sign on to the bill because a lot of more people are getting lymphedema because of when you're having like breast cancer, they have to take out all your lymph nodes, and then the fluid has nowhere to go.
So in the bill, there's legislation, but there's also funding. Tell us about the bill you're fighting for. What does it do?
We're funding for the Lymphedema Treatment Act, and basically it will have Medicare cover your compression garments, and I figured if Medicare can cover people's compression garments, then maybe private insurance, which I have with my compression garments, can kind of follow in Medicare's steps and cover my garments.
And this is something that right now people don't have a lot of help when they're affected by lymphedema.
Yes, some people don't have enough money because the garments get really expensive, and like they said, they're not covered, so some people really just can't do anything for their legs and function.
And your work is looking to change that, and it's going to help so many others, and certainly at the state capitol here in New York, having you up there the number of times that we did really, I think, went a long way to getting legislators to understand why the funding is just so important. You're making a difference for so many, and I've seen you so much in the past few months, and I'm very proud to have someone like you as an ambassador, and you're inspiring others, and the organization that you work with, Lymphatic Education and Research Center, also known as LEARN, tell us about the work they're doing.
They're trying to pass more bills so that actually one just got passed a couple days ago where people who have breast cancer, when they're getting their lymph nodes and they're about to have surgery, they're actually getting a booklet about how you can get lymphedema after. So if they happen to get lymphedema after, they'll be able to know. So they're working on bills that will help people understand what lymphedema is.
And you are one of the youngest ambassadors they've ever had.
Yes, I am.
Yes, let's give her another big round of applause. Thank you, I'm so very pleased to be able to recognize you among the 2018 Women of Distinction.
Thank you.
Congratulations.